All right, before we get started with Season 2, I wanted to watch this again. It's been a while since I've seen it. Remember when they had intros to video games? This looked damn good at the... It just still looks good. I'll probably get DMCA'd for this, but whatever. Make sure when this goes on YouTube, people like and subscribe, damn it. Help offset the money I'm gonna lose. This is cool, man. This is cool. Always loved old videos like this, but Doc Emmerich. That gets you fucking hyped, man. That might be the best part of this game. It might honestly be the best part of the video game is that intro. But God, man, there was something. There was something about intros like that at the time, you know? So, this was SmackDown 2's Unrealistic Expectations video. Ooh, you are right. So, for anybody who doesn't get that reference here, most of you won't give a shit. But, back in the day on the PS2, they put together an intro video. It was SmackDown 2, wasn't it? Basically, they put together this crazy ass cutscene. Was it SmackDown 2? I don't think it was SmackDown 2. It wasn't Know Your Role, was it? This is now important. It definitely wasn't the Know Your Role intro. I'm so mad. What game was it? Know Your Role is SmackDown 2. Yeah, but it's not that intro. It's not that intro. You know, fuck it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Just Bring It. It was the other fucking Rock tagline. That's what it was. There it is. So, they debated the shit out of people. This is a funny one. So, this was a game that came out on the PS2, and they, like, pre-rendered in-game footage with the character models, and people thought, like, holy shit, this is what a game that's coming out in 2001 is gonna look like. I'll let you look up more gameplay from SmackDown Just Bring It. That is not what the game looked like at all. At all. So, there is that. Let's get into some GM mode, though, as we do. But yeah, that was a pretty ridiculous intro. Pretty ridiculous. This game has dynamic potentials and franchise, meaning if a player has a shit potential of players. I know what a dynamic potential means, Cody. And it's good that I kept all of my shit players then, isn't it? Well, maybe not all of them, because again, this starting roster for the Season 2 Arizona Coyotes, we are still trying to take the slow and steady approach to building this team. Guys like Chris Brown and Mike Halmo making the team. I mean, we're definitely, like I said, trying that slow and steady approach as we typically do. But we did end up with a lot of signed free agents, so who knows? Maybe there will be some unforeseen trades. You should try Be a Pro. Oh, Be a Pro in this game was terrible. Hello, Void, by the way. And Shadowstalker. What's going on, everybody? If I missed anything in chat, apologies, by the way. Let me set up the trade block because we are still very much in the stage of needing to make really as much progress as we can in a short amount of time. We do have to reset the trade block again, though, which is never fun. AFC, what's going on? Again, hello, everybody. Excited for this. Have I considered rip packs? You know, if the servers were still up, I would rip packs. Start Corrado over Phillips. Yeah, you're probably not wrong, right? Probably not wrong. I probably should do that. It's a good idea. But NHL 24 is still just as laggy as NHL 15. I have seen a lot of people complain about the menus for NHL 23, or 24, I should say. And the funny thing is, I haven't played enough of it to know. I haven't played all that much of it at all. Again, to date this video for the lovely people on the YouTube side of things, so we'll see it in January. It is October 29th. And, God, where would I see that? Achievements? I think it would be achievements. Go to all achievements. Let me see the damn achievement list for NHL 24. Stat-wise, apparently I have 3 days on it, most of which would have been at the start. I can't see how much time I have recently. Shout out to roster editor extraordinaire, Snipe and Score. Yeah, I have 2 days less than Sin. I got less time than Tactics on this game. Less time than Hendry, less time than Endo Mills. I mean, I have less time on this game than Crash Andrews and Deke Slayer. I don't play that game. I really don't. Compared to previous years where I would have had a lot of time. And I have to be honest, I don't really feel like I'm missing out at all. I don't. I've just been sitting here enjoying these older games and trying to have as much fun as I can. Instead of just playing something that I don't enjoy, I am playing stuff that I at least kind of do, or at least in a game's case like this, that I can meme to death. And it's working out pretty well. Elder Games. Yeah. Will I play it this year? That is solely up to EA as to whether or not I'll play the game this year. We'll see what they do in terms of updating it. I will not touch franchise mode in the current state that it's in. I simply will not do it. I really was excited for that Bruins franchise. And like I said, there were a lot of things that I was told would be fixed that are not fixed. Therefore, I am abstaining. Yeah, it's just pretty simple all around at this stage. That was a good shout to get Frankie Corrado in the lineup, by the way. Can I make a request? You absolutely can't, Void, because nobody cares about your opinion. Fucking got him. Troll me on Twitter now, bitch. Yeah, but go ahead and make a request. It's fine. What's up? What's up? Oh, goodness. Yeah, I was going to say, Taps, like the majority of my NHL consumption this year could very well be through esports commentary, which is also a little bit scary. Frankie Corrado in a second for a first rounder from Ottawa. Again, I love this compare feature. Ottawa's 1-1 on the season. Corrado. When you get to NHL 18, can I add Freddie McDonough? Void, I don't remember if I have that save file, but potentially. We will get, as I've talked about, NHL 16 and onward, we will have the ability to look at old save files that still exist, because some of the games, if you remember, I had to delete save files to start a new one. Great job, EA. And we'll be able to look at old rosters as well. My custom rosters and EA's. So I'm going to have fun with that. Do we think we can land somebody better than Frankie Corrado with that first? For the moment, I'm going to say no to this trade because, again, we don't know how good or bad Ottawa will be this year. And Corrado could be a decent piece for us, given that the Sens want him, the Ducks want him. We're going to hold off. And the 100 friends I have, only 12 of one cups in franchise. Ooh, Josh Bailey. I can see why he's on waivers. $3 million for 3 years. He's listed as a depth forward and an 81 overall. That's a decent little player for us to pick up for nothing. I'll do it. And the cap space isn't an issue. Let's bring in old Josh Bailey. Fine by me. And we actually have a decent record so far. Go figure. Lesio's potential went down. I feel like we had quite a few guys whose potentials changed in the offseason. The Leafs want Frankie Corrado back. I hope he continues to be a hot commodity. Max, thank you for the 28 months, by the way. How the heck are you? Hope you're good. How did I not fall asleep during Sunday Night Football? Hawks, that's a very good question. And the answer to that is I was running around and cleaning my house like a madman at 10 o'clock. I can only be honest. the scouting not matter? Auto scouting is kind of existent. Yeah, the answer was I was barely paying attention to it. So, again, I had a super busy day today. If I had sat down on the couch to watch Sunday Night Football, I would be asleep right now. I just needed to keep moving, keep the energy levels up. And that was the only way I was going to stream at that point. I cleaned out my car at 10 p.m. like a completely normal person. So, we have fun. Dude, Frankie Corrado is the hottest commodity in the league. Connor McDavid in a second for 2 firsts. Yeah, no. Just because we didn't sign him this year doesn't mean we want to get rid of him. Enticing trades, but I do need to wait until later on in the season. Neighbors thinking you were cleaning your car of a cry. Dude, I don't really even have neighbors. I live in the fucking woods, man. Like, there are houses close to me, but not close enough that I would disturb anybody by cleaning out my car. So, and the only reason I didn't do it in the garage is because our garage door got fucking stuck and it's broken and we might have to hire someone to fix it. Just days before an expensive wedding. Life. It's the best. It's the best. I might have to turn these off. The only reason I don't want to turn off trade offers is for the sole fact that there is no trade deadline anymore. That is a brand new factor in this equation for us. Is because we're not on the previous gen version of NHL 15, there is no trade deadline. So I feel like I'm going to redo my FC player because my defensive stuff feels like it ain't doing shit. Big boy, it just depends on how you want to set up your player to your play style. Did you put it in drive and not reverse? No, it just got stuck. Injuries are on. The slider's just low. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. The door just got stuck. I mean, it's a somewhat older garage door from what I can tell. So, just got stuck. Shit happens. Also, it's a known thing in Maine that with a lot of houses, shit just breaks. Especially when you go from summer to winter or vice versa, there's a massive difference in humidity, and that can warp certain things like certain types of doors and, metal frames for garages. So, yeah, it's apparently just a thing that you deal with home ownership. So that's fun. That's fun. Should we put Bailey in the lineup? Nah, we'll just leave him and Mark Fistrick hanging out. So... Perlini Corrado. I'm still waiting for first round picks, but the fact we could land 2 for Perlini and Corrado is pretty good. Keep declining those. Don't know if you talked about it. How much did the Calgary Flames panic? Mozone, what's going on, by the way? So they lost the Heritage Classic. They have been big bad. The problem is, what is panic for the Calgary Flames? That's actually, Hawks, a really good question to ask for tomorrow's podcast. I would love to talk more about that in depth. But the short answer is, at least my initial thought, how can you panic when Jonathan Huberdeau's extension just kicked in for $10 million? What does panic mean? Just completely tear down the team around him? You had Granlund, who was going to leave, and then he re-signed and is the captain now. As far as I recall, there's not too many people on the Flames that you could necessarily move to even kind of retool. Elias Lindholm's deal is up. Dylan Dubé is an RFA. AJ Greer. You keep AJ. He scored in the Heritage Classic, goddammit. Lindholm, Hanifin, Tanev, man, their entire defense. Jesus Christ. Lindholm, Hanifin, Tanev, Zadorov, Osterley's not going to get you much. They could definitely get some pieces for sending some team, some players out from the team, but I don't know if they're going to get this massive return for most of these guys. But yeah, you might as well see what you can get for Lindholm and Hanifin. I don't know if a sign and trade will necessarily happen. I can't imagine you get much for Chris Tanev anymore. once upon a time, sure, but, you know, as expected for someone who plays the way he does, you know, his level of play is not quite where it was. But yeah, Calgary's in a bad spot, is the best way to put it. Or should I say the worst way to put it? The Sharks want 2 first-round picks. Want to give up 2 first-round picks for Perlini, Corrado, in a second. Let me double-check this. Toronto will give 2 first for Christian. Let's see, Brandon Perlini. 72 overall, 19 years old. Corrado, still an 81. I mean, if they weren't asking me to give up that second-round pick, I would probably consider it, but no thank you. No thank you. You're right. That's what was missing. A second-round pick instead of a first. Come on. 2 seconds in Corrado for Ottawa's first and a third. What's Ottawa look like right now? They are 24, 17, and 5. 5 wins in their last 10. That's probably a little bit too good of a pick. So we'll hold off there. Thoughts on the Okposo Makar hit today? Didn't see it. Again, I was out of the house for most of today. We were finalizing some wedding stuff, which again is next weekend. And by the time this comes out on YouTube in January, there would have been a ring on this finger for months. But it did just say Arizona's second. Yeah, it doesn't tell you who the extra pick is from. It just says yours until you go in depth. It's kind of weird. But yeah, that compare feature's sweet. That's one of my favorite parts of this game. I don't know how many trades are going to happen here. We might have a little bit more hands-on of a deadline. We'll see what offers come through here over the next 2 weeks. But we are 21, 33, and 4, and have also won 3 games in a row. Jesus! Mark Visentin, Frankie Corrado, and 2 seconds for the Sens' next 2 first-round picks. All right. So Visentin is still... Ooh, okay, so he is still a starter. He's an 81 listed as a backup. Ottawa's not amazing, but they're not bad either. I mean, again, Visentin's a goalie we could really kind of build around. I don't know what it is about Frankie Corrado. I don't really want to get rid of him. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. 2 younger players who could be decent for us, 2 second-round picks. I mean, that could essentially be 4 roster players for 2, which is how good are the 2. And it looks like a lot of interest has left the building in terms of our players here heading into the deadline. Except for Ottawa. They desperately want Visentin and Corrado. Tim Jackman's on waivers. We might as well take him. Ottawa, I'm not doing it. You got to offer me better than that. So, ooh, Eric Brewer. We'll claim him too. Why not? I have the space. I'm not doing that particular trade. So, ooh, it's basically Zykov and Corrado for a first, if you think about it that way. How good is Valentin Zykov? Sens have gotten better, by the way. 31, 25, and 6. 5 wins in their last 10. Zykov, top 9 potential, 20 years old to 74 overall. That's not too bad either. I'm really not interested in what these teams are offering. So we're on deadline day. Again, there is no deadline day, though, on this version of the game. We won't have a deadline day until, what, NHL 21? 22? Fuck's sake. We are terrible at 23, 36, and 6. But let's take a look at what we could potentially do here in terms of this team and who we could potentially get rid of. So if we look at our draft picks, by the way, we do have the Rangers first round pick as well. Ours is looking pretty damn valuable. In terms of goalies, there's really nobody to get rid of. Like, I don't want to get rid of Mark Visentin. We got a lot of younger goalies on the team. There's really nobody to move there. Defensively, could move Cody Franzen, the Paul Martins of the world. Eric Brewer doesn't have much value. We did just sign Cody Franzen for this year, but it could easily be a flippable contract. Same for Justin Williams at this stage. Although I don't know if I immediately want to flip people. What if they're at least on expiring deals? Which would be Chris Phillips. Can I move Chris Phillips for anything? What else do we have that's on an expiring deal? Corrado, Murphy, Phillips, and TVR. Who can I move Chris Phillips to? Bruins are interested, but they'd be over the $70 million cap. Chicago would be over. In fairness, we can retain salary. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. I don't know if Chicago would actually be able to afford him. If we look at picks, yeah, they'd still be over the cap. Anybody else want him? Detroit. All right, Detroit could be a landing spot. I don't know if we can get the value up enough to be able to afford that. And yeah, potential has changed drastically and quickly in this version of the game. If we give up our second round pick, we might be closer. Is there anything else that they want that actually has some value? Henrik Samuelsson. They do want Tim Jackman, but again, he doesn't have value. Galesio's value or potential did drop. McDavid's only gone up by a point so far this season. We don't have too much to give up outside of picks. That looks pretty close. Chris Phillips on 50% retained and a second round pick for the Red Wings first. I imagine Detroit's good. Detroit's fantastic. So really that's only helping us move up an extra couple of spots. But we'll do Chris Phillips a solid. Let him go to a contender. Maybe he gets a win. So Phillips in a second for Detroit's first. Done deal. We'll take it. We'll take it. Who else do we have that might be on an expiring contract? We have a lot of unsigned prospects. I mean, Tim Jackman has no value at all. Sean Matthias, Mikhail Bodker, and Sam Gagner, who is currently hurt. So I don't know if that will allow me to trade him. But we can retain salary on Sam Gagner as well. Let's see if we can work out a decent little deal here for Mr. Gagner. Actually, apparently, I might not be able to hold off on that much, which is interesting. Edmonton is interested in Gagner. They're not interested in moving their first. I hate this glitch with the frickin' things. Goddamn. Florida's not interested in moving the first. LA couldn't afford him. Minnesota. They would have too many players. Don't know if I'll be able to navigate this then. Can I take Brent Sutter? Okay. Sam Gagner on retained salary. Minnesota's first. We take, I think it's Brent Sutter. I think so, at least. It is Brett Sutter, not Brent. Apologies. Will that go through straight up? I doubt it, but let's try. Yeah. All right. We still have the Chicago second. What about our third? This will be our fourth first-round pick. Sam Gagner on 50% retained and a third for Minnesota's first. And Brett Sutter. Why does it show him on Anaheim when you view his profile? Because it's NHL 15, dog. The game sucks. Will this go through? Still no. Son of a bitch. Come on, Minnesota. Come on. What about the Chicago second instead of our third? There we go. All right. Well, we'll take it. It is another first round pick for us. I don't know how many more we'll be able to get. Again, Bodker's deal is up, but he's 26. Bodker and Matthias are the last two guys that it makes sense to probably move on from now that have any sort of value. So where, oh where, could we send Sean Matthias? Where, oh where? I am more interested in draft picks right now. The Devils aren't going to help me. Is NHL 24 GM mode really any better? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Isn't that horrifying? Tis the truth, though. The Rangers. Nobody that we'd want. They are willing to move a second, but they'd be over the cap. Philadelphia. Cavalier Gomez, Mark Streit. All right. Might be able to work out this deal with Philly. Help them get a rental here. We have their first already. Well, they still have a first. So let's go for extremely underrated Victor Arvidsson. And that first is going to be pretty expensive. Arizona's, or our third, I should say, Matthias for Arvidsson in the first. Not quite. Not quite. What if we had the CBJ fourth? What if we add Dallas and LA's fourth? There we go. We were able to nickel and dime it. Sean Matthias, we get another first. In terms of whether or not any teams have low contracts, 38 for Washington, 37 for Boston. So still not perfect, but not as bad as NHL 24. In terms of teams not knowing how to balance their roster. Mikhail Bodker. 26 years old. Could be a part of this team. But also could get us quite the haul here. Including a pretty valuable first rounder from the Sharks. Who must be worse than expected this year. Let me take a look at that pick. 28, 24, and 10. They're not great. 5-5 in their last 10 with 20 games left. Might be quite the risk, but it could be worth it. The Blues have Robbie Fabry. Try to get like Robbie Fabry and a first from St. Louis. I think they'd be over the cap, though. Most teams would be. Winnipeg. Not giving away anybody. Bodker. Calgary. Not giving away anybody. That sucks. Colorado. Not giving away their firsts. Not giving away any prospects, though, either. Edmonton. Gonchar. Oh, we found where Sergei Gonchar went. Florida. Just Brian Campbell. Not giving up their first. Again, I can't retain salary on him either. Could find a deal with a team where it would still work, though. Jersey's trying to move Michael Ryder. They're not willing to move their first. Did I look at the Islanders already? I think I did. Maybe not for this particular trade, but yeah, there is not much here. Ottawa's first. That's not too bad. We wouldn't have to worry about cap either. And Philadelphia has Tampa's first. I think we have our answer. It's either Ottawa or Philadelphia. What does that Tampa Bay... Oh, hold on. All right, we have to take back a random skater. I got to see what Tampa looks like. Because I'm pretty sure that's showing me Philly's record. So what does Tampa look like? 33, 21, and 7. What's Ottawa look like? 31, 25, and 6. Honestly, Ottawa might be the answer. I don't know if I can get those back-to-back first-round picks like we had been offered before. But Bodker, I mean, he's a UFA. He's 26. I don't know if he quite fits into the window that we're looking at. Same with Martin Hanzal. His contract is not up until the end of next year. This is Cody Franzen's. Ottawa would be over budget on Franzen. Would they be up with Hanzal? I imagine they would. I think no, Hanzal makes less than Cody Franzen. Hanzal. They'd still be over the cap. Well, people had said some unsavory things about Valentin Zykov. Bodker and Zykov for 2 firsts. Will they do it? Yes, they will. So the Sens had been pestering me all season long about taking their first-round picks. And for the most part, we're looking pretty good. I do think we have players we could move at the draft. We don't necessarily have to move them right now. Shout out to low top 6 Mitch Marner and low 4 Travis Dermott. That backfired pretty quickly. But I don't know, feeling good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 first-rounders. That's hedging your bets. I said we weren't quite at Sabres territory for how we started NHL 14, but all things considered, we are going to be absolutely terrible.